Hello students, we begin our cursive this week, and I want to talk about a couple things before I show you the first letter. And the first is your paper. Now this is in a workbook, but I suggest that you rip it out, okay, and have it on a nice flat surface. That's going to help you when you do your letters. And then the second thing is make sure your paper is tilted the correct way. Now I am right-handed, so this is the right side of my paper, the top right, and that's going to be tipped up. So this would be a right-handed person writing. But if you are left-handed, the left side of your top paper would be tipped up. So you would tip your paper this way for left-handed people. Here is my letter A. So what I want to do, first of all, I want to make sure I have a correct pencil grip. Okay, so you are pinching it and it is resting on your middle finger. Okay, and your pencil is nice and sharpened. So letter A, they have starting dots to help you out. You're going to start at the dot. Okay, and this is just slightly below the top line. You're going to curve up a little bit, curve down around, touch the baseline, back up to that dot, and then slanted line down and a very small upstroke. Lowercase a is done the same way. Start at that dotted line just below that midline. You're going to curve around, down, touch the baseline, back up to where you started, slant line down, and it kind of breaks away from that slanted line in a small upstroke. Okay, lowercase a. The biggest part of this is making sure it is sitting on that baseline. On your paper, you have two lines at the top that has both the uppercase and the lowercase together. And so you will do that line, and those the first line has all the dots for you. As you can see, I've been practicing. And then the second line has one set of dots. And then do a couple by yourself, remembering where to start for your uppercase and lowercase. If you're not sure, go back and retrace the ones you've already done. Then you have two lines of just uppercase and two lines of just lowercase. And the final thing that you have is a combination of lowercase a's together. So let's take a look at that one. So you're going to start again at that dotted line, and you will make a lowercase a just like you normally do. You're going to come down, and then when you make that upstroke, it's going to curve into the next a. You'll go to the dot, and then you'll retrace that and go down to the baseline, back up, slanted line down, upstroke goes into the next letter, curve back around down to the baseline, and pull it down for that last upstroke. The other thing you can do as you make your letters is to say the phonogram, the sounds as you draw your letter, your cursive letters. So A, the three sounds of A is ah, So as you make it, ah, 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 ah. And that way you're practicing two things at once. You're practicing the formation of the letter, and you're practicing the sounds of that phonogram, ah, ah. Our next letter is letter E. If you noticed, it was not letter B, so they start with the vowels first, A, E, I, O, U. So we are going to practice letter E. So again, if you're left-handed, this is the left side, this would be tipped up. And if you're right-handed, this is the right hand side, and that would be tipped up. Uppercase E starts at that 2 o'clock position, just below the top line. Okay, you're going to curve around and make a little curly Q, and then come back around, touch that bass line and a upstroke. If you notice, you're ending right about at the 4 o'clock position. Now lowercase e looks very different. So here, this is a letter that starts at that bass line, okay? And you're going to curve up, touch the midpoint, curve around, back down, touch the bass line, and a small upstroke. Let's take a look at that again. Okay, uppercase E, 2 o'clock, curve up, touch the top line, curly Q at the midpoint, curve around, touch the bass line, and an upstroke ending around 4 o'clock. Lowercase e, start at the bass line, curve up, curve around, down, touch the bass line, and upstroke. And a good thing to do is to practice your phonogram as you do your writing. Let's look at the lowercase e, and our two sounds of e are e, 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 e. I can do that with my uppercase one as well. E, e. And remember, e at the end of a word usually says its long sound, e. Now let's practice 3 e's together. Let's see how they are connected. So we're going to start our lowercase e just like we normally do at the bass line. Curve up, around, down. So the upswing goes right into the second part of that e. Okay, and so it's going to curve around and down, back up, curve around and down, ending with that upstroke. Our next letter we will be doing is the letter I. So the third vowel, A, E, I. So let's take a look at letter I. I'm going to tip my paper. I'm right-handed, so the top of my paper is tipped to the top right. Okay, uppercase I. We start down at the bass line. We're going to curve up and around, and then a sharp curve back down to the bass line, a upstroke to the left, and this last part is called the boat. It is a small, we call this a check stroke, but it looks like a boat. That is uppercase I. Lowercase I, we also start at the bass line, and we do a slant up to that midline, and then a slant down and away, and then a small upstroke at the end of that. And then we go back to the top and we dot our I slightly above that midline. If we want to practice our phonograms when we make our cursive letter I, the sounds of I are I, 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 I. Lowercase I. I. And remember, I at the end of a syllable usually says the long sound I. Now let's do 3 lowercase i's together. So if we take a look, again we start at the baseline, slant up, slant down, and then our upstroke goes right up into the next slant up. Slant down, touch the baseline, slant up, slant down, touch the baseline, and curve up for that last upward curve. And then we can go back and dot all those i's above that midline. Our next letter is the letter O. It is a vowel. And so let's take a look at how we form that letter O. So we are going to start where that dot is. Okay, and again it's at 2 o'clock. And we're going to curve around, touch the baseline, back up to that 2 o'clock to make that oval, but then you're going to continue to the top and then make a little loop around to finish that O. Lowercase o, we're going to again start at the 2 o'clock position, curve around, touch the baseline, back to that 2 o'clock position, and then we're going to make a little check stroke back up to the dotted line. If we want to practice it while saying the phonogram O, O has 3 sounds, ah, o, oo. So we can do that, ah, o, oo, ah, o, oo. The last part of your paper is connecting 3 lowercase o's together. So we start at that 2 o'clock position, make a lowercase o, do our check stroke, okay, and then I kind of curve around and then start the second letter, back around, touch that position again, okay, make the check stroke and curve around, touch the baseline, okay, and then make that last check stroke. Our last vowel this week is the letter U. So let's take a look at the uppercase U. So this one is a little bit different because we start at the 2 o'clock position, okay, on the left, and then we're going to curve up, touch that top line, and then a slanted line down to the baseline. Curve up, slanted line up, touch that top line, then we're going to retrace that line, break off a little bit, touch the baseline again, and a curve up for that final upstroke. Lowercase u, we start this one at the baseline. We're going to curve up, then we're going to retrace part of that line and then break off, touch the baseline, slanted line up, slanted line down, break off, and then a small upstroke at the end. If we want to practice our phonogram when we do our letter U, the letter U has 3 sounds, a, u, oo. A, u, oo. A, u, oo. So there we have practicing 2 things at once.